Hey, what's up? It's another episode of Watch You Strappin. These are not watch reviews, so just a quick wristwatch check with a strap pairing. And if it's a new watch, such as in this case, it'll be on its OEM bracelet or strap option. The former being a bracelet, obviously. Just to show it on its original configuration first, and then, later on, when I make more episodes with the particular watch, it will definitely be showing on other strap options. And I certainly have a lot of things for this one. I got a lot of straps already, and this thing can be very much a strap monster. So we'll get into it. This is a recent acquisition. This is the new Marinemaster, the Seiko Prospex Lux. I guess it's under that specific model line, which is like their upper Prospex lines. SLA077. This is what some might call the white dial, but really it's kind of an opaline white dial. It's got a slight silvery kind of sheen to it. You might be able to see. I believe the SLA079, which was the other one that came out at the same time, is the black dial version with a black date window or disc. This does actually have, because of the slight silvery shimmer to it, if you really look at the date, it actually does a pretty good job of matching that, because it does have a slight silvery sheen to it as well. I don't know if you can tell. It's not a straight white. You can tell right there when I'm trying to mess with the reflections. And with both watches, they have, if you can look closely, it has this fine kind of sandy grainy texture to it, which is pretty cool. But overall, I would definitely consider this a white dial. I mean, in contrast with the black bezel, and you got this stainless steel that's definitely in silver all around the case and bracelet, you can definitely see against that, and even the contrasting, like I would say these are like a dark polished, like it's almost like a gunmetal color. It's not quite black. If you look at it in certain lighting, I don't know if it's coming through here, it's more of a like a gunmetal color. It's got, that's what I would say, but it mostly appears black. And contrast with the black printing and other stuff on the dial, this basically comes across as a white dial. I mean, and this is fine. This is what I was looking for. As I said in my unboxing video, and so many times in other watches that have a white dial black bezel, I've been for diver, that's something I've been looking for. I don't know, it wasn't something that I actively sought before when I first got my first white dial black bezel diver, which was a Tag Heuer diver quartz. But still, nonetheless, it was my first luxury watch that I purchased for myself. I was in a trip in Hong Kong, had the cash, and I was walking around, and I decided to pop into a store, and I saw some Tag Heuers. I was like, I'm going to get myself a nice watch. And I looked around, and that was one that I could afford. There's some other ones I wanted. Interesting enough, originally I think I wanted to get like a silver dial one. For some reason, black never interested me. I like the silver. There was I don't have the model number, but there was a Tag Heuer around that time. It's kind of a silvery dial, but it was kind of like I don't know if that's considered a 70s or 80s thing. I thought this watch was bought in the 90s. Excuse me. It has like this kind of I'm not sure it would have a grain, but it definitely had like this, some divers had like this kind of fine flecky, a fine flecked, texture or coloring to the dial. So it was like basically silver, I think, but then it had like little light specks of it kind of mixed in. Anyways, I think the one I was looking at was a bit too much. It probably was an automatic. I wasn't really thinking about automatic, of course, back then, and probably my mind was always thinking that watches were basically quartz watches. I didn't even really consider automatics or mechanicals at that time. Back in, I think I got that back in '94. But anyways, had that 12 years or so. One of my favorite watches. That's almost my only watch, and now somehow I misplaced it and basically lost it. And anyways, I've been on a quest to kind of replace that, and I've done it with a Seiko mod. Interestingly enough, it has my favorite Seiko mod, which I call it the what was it, the Night King mod. Certain aspects of it I just Game of Thrones was popular back then, when I first did that mod with an SKX. Really cool. I think it was well received, and I believe, and that was the early days of watch modding, where fairly early, where there wasn't an abundance of parts and things like they do now. You had to make a bunch of things, and I made my own white dial. What's the name of the brand? Alexander James or something like that. He makes his own watches too, but he also made dials. And I remember I didn't know if that was his, but then I just found it on eBay. I said, okay, this got a Submariner-ish dial. It was white, but it actually was opaline, and I was actually modeling that after a Grand Seiko, which I previously owned not too long ago from when this is SBGX015, if I'm not mistaken, or is it 115? SBGX115? I think that was it. SBGX115. It's course diver. And anyways, long story short, I've been through a lot of white dial black bezel divers, and they come and gone. I haven't found the right one, like, for whatever reason. And I think I finally found it. Sure, if this isn't a pure white dial, but it's about as close as I can get to it. And yes, I do believe it would look even better if it was, but I do really like this still. And yeah, this is on the factory bracelet. And I did purchase a what do I call it? Aftermarket, well, not aftermarket, an OEM, like it should be an OEM, unless it was a fake one, but a Marinemaster dive class, with the one with the ratcheting extension. It doesn't have this ridiculous extension that I'm focusing on right here, which is useless. Yeah, anyways, that's why I wanted to switch it, and also make it match with the Marinemaster design, just to get more of that Marinemaster element to it. But it was oddly deformed slightly, like this flip lock part was like slightly higher on the left side, and it didn't lock down or all the way or straight. It was just a bit off, and yeah, I have to return it. And actually, I gotta do that soon. But it's in the process. Maybe I'll replace it with another one, because they're not cheap. They cost about well, I got mine for about 90-ish after tax, which is on the less expensive side. Most of them tend to be over 100 or well over that. And so I don't know. I mean, I would like to get it, but to be honest, even though I don't like this extension, and I don't think anyone ever does, and it'll never be used, overall the clasp works. There is no micro adjustment, Seiko, but it is slim, and it's not too wide, and it's comfortable. I mean, it works, and luckily I've been able to excuse me, gotta clear my throat. I've been able to most of the time non-adjusting bracelets without clasp that have micro adjust. I've been able to size fairly well, and my wrist size rarely expands and shrinks that much where I've ever really needed it. It's nice to have, but to be honest, I've been perfectly fine getting away with just sizing it to fit, no matter what my size is, my wrist goes up to. Normally, I've been lucky enough to get it to hold and fit well. For the most part, I don't think I've ever had any issues with that. So I don't know. I mean, it'd be a nice thing to get. It's like the logo is what would you call it, embossed. It's kind of imprinted into, or deep, and it's not engraved, but it's kind of stamped, or it goes down where the letters are. Does deboss is when they pop up, right? Yeah. And so that gives it a little bit nicer feeling, I think, than just, I think this is just I don't think it's printed, but it might be laser etched. So I don't know. We'll see. Not in a big hurry. I wait for that. Make sure I got the return on that first before I consider trying again to maybe get the Marinemaster class. But as a whole, I like this bracelet. It's kind of almost like the new Speedy kind of style. If you've seen those, they kind of have this look. Relatively short lengths, and then it's got those little fine a line of high polish along the center links. Very similar, but I do believe the the Speedmaster bracelet is nicer, of course. Should have screw links, which this does not. This does use a pin and collar, but to be honest, they're easy to do. You know, once you size it, that's it. You don't have to fuss with it, and they hold in place just fine, so you don't have to worry about them ever really backing out. Like, potentially screws can undo themselves unless you use Loctite, but still, never had an issue with that with pin and collar. Some people say that they don't like the male end links, and in general I would prefer female, but I would say as long as it's done right, you know, the center part of the male end link here, as long as it doesn't stick out from the case too wide and it angles and curves down, and preferably keeps the links kind of as close or inward of the end of the lugs here, the lug tips, you can see it's well within it, as I'm trying to point out. I think, you know, it doesn't hang out. Everything comes down nicely. My wrist is about 7 inches. I forget what the lug to lug is on this, but anyways, I think it's around 49. So, but still, you know, everything flows down nicely and it doesn't jut out. So I think that's fine. Female would have been a little better just to have that, and also you would not have like this longer center link portion that's not part of the end link. You know, if you could do a female, it might be the same size as most of the center links along the bracelet, right? So then it'll look more consistent all the way through. But as it is, it really doesn't bother me. It's got a nice drill through lug holes, because this will be a great strap monster, and I will definitely be sharing some stuff in the coming episodes. Great loom. You know, there's been some, I've recently made it a point to avoid any Seikos in the kind of middle to slightly upper range, ranging from roughly $500-600 or $700, maybe $100 up to about 1,000, maybe 12 or 14, somewhere around that range. Generally, those run on the 6R family of movements, which I haven't had the best luck with, and I'm not going to take that chance again, because I was going to go with a Slim Turtle, one of the older ones. Well, it's new, relatively new, but the ones that the Slim Turtle, there was a white dial with a black bezel. That was pretty nice looking, but 6R 35 movement, no. And you know, some other ones I just won't avoid. I'd rather go with a 4R. Reliable, never had any issues, and they cost less, and they work just as well, if not better, than the 6Rs. Or I jump up to beyond, you know, usually 2,000 plus. Yeah, it's kind of high for a Seiko, but the ones that run off of a 6L or 8L movement, such as this one does have, I believe, the 8L35, and so you know, it's just a slightly down spec Grand Seiko movement, and the 6L basically is an 8L, but I believe it's just like a thinner version of it, so you can get it into an even more thinner or compact case. So there's that. So yeah, I would rather do that. I think I trust that movement. It's the tolerances for the movement itself stated it's better. It's between, I believe, -10 to +15 seconds. And so far, I've had this on for the last, say, Sunday, Saturday, Friday, maybe since Thursday, Friday, yeah, so the last 3 to 4 days. It's been running a pretty consistent plus 2.3 or roughly 2.5 seconds a day, which is fine. That's pretty good, and I'm happy with that, actually. And yeah, and so far so good. I will see. This is basically, hasn't even really been a full week yet, even though I did buy this just over a week ago, but I was busy. I wanted to keep my Zen on my wrist over the weekend, and then when the work week started just last week, I knew it was going to be grueling, very hot still, and I thought it was better to have my Tag Heuer titanium and quartz for most of the week until things eased up on work, as well as the temperature, because I wanted to enjoy this watch and soak it in. And you know, I would have been just pressed for time. I couldn't chill and just kind of peek at my watch and enjoy it. I knew that, and I always keep my watches protected. Like I wear like a long sleeve at work because I handle things a lot, and it would probably be mostly covered anyways, just the amount of work that would have to be done. So yeah, so when towards the end of the week it eased up, got not as hot, which is better, and then I started to enjoy it, and I still am. And yeah, this is a great watch. I think compared to the previous, Marinemaster divers, very similar in design. Some maybe a little bit more expect, slightly, maybe even limited editions. If you just think about it, they've all cost well over 3,000, and for this to come in at just under that, I think they're around 2,900, and I think there's a lot here. They actually, for once, I guess they actually kind of went down in price slightly. That's unless I'm getting it wrong, but overall it's still it's still an expensive watch for sure. But given what they used to cost, at least from what I can recall, for basically the same kind of model, other than like the Marinemaster Reduced or the MM200s, but those are running off the 6R movements. So, but anything with the 8Ls, we're definitely looking at over 3,000, I believe. So yeah, I wouldn't even consider those. I like those, but then again, the 6R movement. I'm talking about the Marinemaster 200, Marinemaster Reduced. So I think it's a pretty decent value, and I got a discount off of it too. So I didn't pay full retail on it. Actually, it came under after taxes and stuff. So I think that was pretty decent for a brand new watch. Still pricey, but this is really what, once I saw it, I knew that I really wanted to go with this. This could be, I'm really reducing my collection. I'll do a updated estate collection, and there'll be a few things that probably won't get in because they've sold since my last video. They kind of came in and out really quick, relatively speaking, and we'll see. I'll show you what I've gone down to. But basically, I wanted to have a solid dive watch that I could, dive watches are my main watch, so I wanted one that would really fit that and be really satisfied with, and I think this is finally it. Yeah, and what else can I say? I think that's about it for now. It's getting kind of long. I just wanted to show you on the stock option, and I do have some other things I want to check out later and show you guys. But anyways, thanks for watching, and enjoy your watches. I'm surely gonna enjoy this one. I think this is a cool offering from Seiko, and I'm glad to finally have yet another Seiko back in my collection, because there hasn't been one in my collection for a relatively decent amount of time, since the last, before this one. All right, thanks, later.